Moving ahead now to Psalm 139. For the leader of David, a psalm. O Lord, you have examined me and know me. When I sit down or stand up, you know it. You discern my thoughts from afar. You observe my walking and reclining, and are familiar with all my ways. There is not a word on my tongue, but that you, O Lord, know it well. You hedge me before and behind. You lay your hand upon me. It is beyond my knowledge. It is a mystery. I cannot fathom it. Where can I escape from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I descend to Sheol, you are there too. If I take wing with the dawn to come to rest on the western horizon, even there your hand will be guiding me. Your right hand will be holding me fast. If I say, surely darkness will conceal me, night will provide me with cover. Darkness is not dark for you. Night is as light as day. Darkness and light are the same. It was you who created my conscience. You fashioned me in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am awesomely, wondrously made. Your work is wonderful. I know it very well. My frame was not concealed from you when I was shaped in a hidden place, knit together in the recesses of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed limbs. They were all recorded in your book. In due time they were formed, to the very last one of them. How weighty your thoughts seem to me, O God, how great their number. I count them, they exceed the grains of sand. I end, but am still with you. O God, if you would only slay the wicked, you murderers, away from me. You who invoke you for intrigue, your enemies who swear by you falsely. O Lord, you know I hate those who hate you and loathe your adversaries. I feel a perfect hatred toward them. I count them my enemies. Examine me, O God, and know my mind. Probe me and know my thoughts. See if I have vexatious ways, and guide me in ways everlasting. One of the first thoughts that comes to my mind is that hatred on any level and in any way, shape, or form is in itself a vexatious attitude, harmful and unproductive, destructive, useless. And so the hatred that the psalmist describes that he feels towards his enemies is counted among those vexatious thoughts that need to be uprooted. It's also interesting to me to reflect for a moment about some of the great strengths of this psalm, putting aside this last piece about the hatred. The psalm itself is an extremely self-differentiated, self-aware, and deeply spiritually powerful statement about the way that God knows each and every fiber of my being. The psalmist starts by saying, Adonai chakartani bateda. God, you have examined me and you know me. The Hebrew word chakar, here translated as examined, can mean to research. In modern Hebrew, mechkar means research. So it's as if God has performed or done God's research on each and every one of us. God knows us in and out. All of our thoughts, all of our speech, our walking, our sitting, everything we do is known by God. Where can I flee from your presence? The psalmist asks. How can I escape from your spirit? It is impossible, because this is a two-way street. If God is with us, if we have a sense every day of God's presence as a source of strength and comfort to us, then we also must know that God sees into our hearts and knows our innermost thoughts. So just as we reach out to God for support, God moves towards us in the way of knowing every aspect of our being. For some people, this idea would be a source of fear and anxiety. They may say to themselves, if God knows all of my innermost thoughts and sees all of my deeds and examines my heart, then woe is me, because I'm in big trouble. If God knows everything about me, if God sees into the evil thoughts that I have, or the selfish feelings, or my own inner lack of concern or compassion for people around me, then I'm going to be in big trouble with God, because God won't stand for that kind of moral weakness within me. But it's really the opposite. The psalmist wants God to see all of this. The psalmist wants God to understand not only the psalmist's strengths, but also his moral and spiritual weaknesses. And only a person who is secure within themselves and willing to change and willing to do better and to grow spiritually in life, only such a person can be comfortable with the idea that God sees into their innermost heart and thoughts. How do we know this? Because of the conclusion of the psalm. The psalmist says in the last two verses, examine me, O God, and know my mind. Probe me and know my innermost thoughts. This is an invitation to God to continue to do that mechkar, that research on me, to know every aspect of my existence, of my being. Verse 24, see if I have vexatious ways, the psalmist says to God, and again invites God to guide him in ways everlasting. Why do we want God to help us understand our faults, our shortcomings, our vexatious ways? We want this so that we can improve in our lives, so that we can become better and more fulfilled human beings. Once God helps us understand our vexatious ways, then we can set a corrective path towards doing better. This is all about mindfulness and self-awareness. It alludes to the cheshbon hanefesh, the spiritual inventory that we are meant to do around the High Holy Day season, but indeed each and every day. This is meant to invite us, to draw us in to a path of spiritual growth and progress. And how do we allow ourselves to be guided once we are aware of our vexatious ways? Well, one is through prayer and through meditation that gets us in tune and in touch with the higher parts of ourselves and helps also to make us aware of the weaker part of ourselves. And also by developing a continual awareness and mindfulness of our own shortcomings and our moral failings. These are the ways that we can improve in our lives. Bottom line, to be open to God, to be open to change, and finally, to have an open and listening heart and open ears to listen to the voices of others, of those around us who can correct our faults or point them out to us when we are unaware, and to be open and aware and to listen to our innermost hearts, to that voice within calling us to become better and more righteous people, that inner voice is indeed a manifestation of the voice of God. Thank you.